Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Just making sure you can hear me. If you can hear me, put a yes in the comments. Hello, 13 Wolfies. So excited to see you and have you here. If you're joining for the first time, let me know where you are joining from. I would love to know. And let me know that you can hear me. So, welcome to this week's live call. I go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Bola Shokumbi. I'm the founder and CEO of Clever Girl Finance. We're an online financial empowerment for women and our allies. And we're all about getting you to the point where you're living life on your own terms and building wealth on your own terms. So, welcome. I am so excited to have you here. I was not here last week, but I am back with a new topic. And today we're going to be talking about how to handle money guilt when you are not saving enough. And this is something that is quite common. And we're going to talk about it. 13 Wolfies, I see your comment. You said, please don't judge me, Bola. I've been watching you for many years, but a lot of the times the impulse spending has me stuck that I sometimes live paycheck to paycheck again. I feel ashamed. Listen, this platform is no shame, no judgment. We all go we all go through things with our finances, including myself. We all have challenges with our finances, so there is no shame and no judgment. So we're not feeling ashamed. 13 Wolfies, you are doing fantastic. And the fact that you're here means that you're ready to make progress. So I'm going to give you a virtual hug. It's going to be okay. Hi, Sonia from Trinidad. Hello, Leah. Hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. Hello, Nahemi. Hi, Nikki, New Jersey. Hi, Renee. Okay, so before we get into the topic, oh, you're crying in the kitchen. Thank you for the kind words and supports. I love you also. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here and for your support. Uh, Hi, Thelma. Hello, Sabrina. Okay, so we're talking about, like I said, how to handle money guilt when you're not saving enough. I have my notes on this other screen here. But before we get into it, if you haven't already subscribed to the Clever Girl Finance newsletter, do that. Please do. Would love to have you. We talk about a bunch of different topics. It's all about motivation and accountability. And when you subscribe to our newsletter, you also get access to our Clever Girl Finance roadmap to help you create your plan for your finances. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. We would love to have you. You can subscribe at clevergirlfinance.com/subscribe. And then check out our Clever Girl Finance book series, our free courses. Follow us on social media. You can find these books everywhere books are sold. They're available as ebooks, audiobooks, and physical books. The only book that is not an audiobook is the workbook, My Wealth Plan Workbook, which is this dark green one here, because it is a workbook. And for those of you who have asked or inquired in the past, Clever Girl Finance does offer a one-on-one coaching. You can do that with myself or with Yasmer. However, our mentor calls, if you just need some quick motivation, we do offer free mentor calls, and Anita and Yasmer offer those calls. So once you sign up for a course, you can sign up for those free calls with Anita and with Yasmer. But if you want some deep dive, one-on-one financial coaching around investing, personal finances, budgeting, business, entrepreneurship, you can definitely check out this link. Okay, so before we get into the topic, I'm going to do my savings check-in. So for those of you who are regulars on this channel, one of the things I wanted to do this year is to make this a year of saving more money, saving extra money, starting your savings. And so my goal has been to save extra money that I planned to spend but did not spend. I had started this in April. For those of you who are familiar, this is a cash envelope book that I got on Amazon. It's linked below. These are stickers that are also from Amazon, also linked below. And I think the last time I had $1,300, $1,300 in this notebook, and I added an extra $50. So I'm saving in $50 increments. So I added an extra $50. So now I have $1,350 in my money book. I'm so proud of myself. And this is from my grocery budget. I do have an extra $20 that in here that I need to add another $30 to put it in an envelope in this binder. So I'm going to do that this week. But if you are part of this challenge and you're saving extra money, it doesn't have to be in this binder. It can be in a bank account. It can be in regular envelopes. It can be however you want to save. Please share your savings update in the comments so we know. This is something that I'm doing with my friend Nikki, who is also here on the chat as well. And it's just a way to stay motivated to save, because it's never a bad idea to have more money. So you might be wanting to start an emergency fund, replenish an emergency fund, save money to start investing, whatever your goals are. This is a great way to challenge yourself. So, there's Andrea, it's not anything official, it's just something that I share here on the YouTube channel. So basically, what have you saved extra this week? That's basically the goal. I'm using this envelope book, but you can save however you want. Hello, Kemi. Hi, Gaeta. Hi, Sabrina. Andrea says hi, everyone. Hello, Judith. Okay, so we're gonna get into the topic, and it is, again, how to handle money guilt when you are not saving enough. Leah, your savings is at $1,000. Woohoo! So excited. Rosa, you said, question, do you recommend us putting it in a high yield savings account? Yes, you can save that way if that's what works for you. High yield savings account is always a good idea. Hello, Ed. Okay, so we're talking about something that is real for many of us, right? We set a savings goal, and for some reason we're not able to meet our savings goal. So the guilt creeps in, and we feel like that we're not saving enough, or we're not saving at all. And it could be that you've been spending more money this summer. It could be that you've had unexpected bills, or maybe you're just feeling stuck when it comes to saving money. So today we're going to talk about why money guilt is so common, how to shift the guilt into something more useful, because the guilt doesn't serve us any purpose other than making us feel bad. And then we're going to talk about small, simple ways to rebuild your savings confidence. And again, as I said earlier, this is a judgment-free zone. No shame, no judgment. We're not here to beat ourselves up about what we did not do. We are here to build ourselves up. This is what Clever Girl Finance is about. So it doesn't matter where you've been with your savings, what you have spent, what you overdid. No, we're not here to shame you. We're not here to judge or to guilt trip. We are here to think about how can we make progress moving forward. That is the goal. Yay. I'm just looking at the comments right here. Sabrina, you said you've opened up a special savings account for your trip to Italy. You saved 2,400. So exciting. I love it. I love it. Okay. Hi, Tilly. Thank you for the compliments. So that's what we're going to talk about. So why is money guilt? What is money guilt, and why do we carry it? Let me go back to my notes for the screen. So first of all, let's name it, right? Money guilt sounds like us telling ourselves, like our little voice in our head is telling ourselves, oh, I should be saving more money by now. I should have saved more by now. It could be us telling ourselves, I know better. So why am I not doing better? Bola, why are you not doing better with your savings journal? Why are you not doing better? Or it could be us self-judging ourselves and saying things to ourselves like, oh, everybody else seems to be doing fine. Everybody else seems to be saving and investing. Why can't I? And this guilt that we're feeling, this money guilt, excuse me, this money guilt that we're feeling about not saving enough is often rooted in things like comparison, right? Which is what we think other people are doing better than us. It is rooted in pressure from social media, culture, family, or your own goals that you have put pressure on yourself about. It is also rooted in perfectionism. This is the idea that anything less than perfect, anything less than meeting the goal exactly is a failure. But the truth is that guilt does not build wealth. What builds wealth is grace, giving yourself grace to know that you're going to make mistakes, giving yourself grace when you do make the mistakes, clarity, which is assessing the mistakes that you have made and learning from them, and consistent action. Those are the things that build wealth, not the guilt, not the comparison, not the pressure, not the perfectionism. So if you have been thinking about what you're not doing from a guilty perspective, from a self-judgment perspective, you need to change the way you're thinking. You need to adjust your mindset and remind yourself constantly that this mode of thinking, this idea of guilting ourselves or comparing ourselves and all of that is not going to help us get where we're trying to go. It's just a distraction. Andrea, you said you feel stuck too. Yes, there will be a replay. It's going to be right here where you logged into this. Hello, Shonda. Nice to see you. Tracy Steele Jean, you said I'm teaching myself not to feel guilty, and it's never too late to start over with your savings account. That is correct. It is never too late. The same way every day is a fresh start, every day is a new day, you can always restart. So the guilt is a distraction. Guilt is a distraction. And so don't allow that guilt to keep you stuck, because when you lean too heavily into your guilt and what you're not doing right or what you're not doing well, you find yourself stuck there and you find yourself not making any progress. Kemi, you said that guilt is real. Guilt is real. Listen, it'll grip you and hold you so tight. Okay. So the next thing we want to do, right? We've determined, we've named what it is, what the money guilt sounds like. We have determined where it's coming from: comparison, pressure, perfectionism. Now let's reframe what not saving enough really means, right? So these are things that in your mind, and I'm all about, for those of you who are joining for the first time, I'm all about adjusting mindset. I'm all about affirming yourself and then taking action, because you need to have that solid foundation to be successful with the goals that you want to achieve. So when it comes to reframing, oh, Bola, you're not saving enough, it's be mindful of what you're saying to yourself, right? So instead of telling yourself, you know what, I am behind, Bola, I am behind, try saying, I'm learning what I need right now. Instead of saying, I've messed up with my savings, try saying, I'm ready to try a new approach. So I saw someone in the comments who said something like, that was you, BW Unbothered. You said, I haven't put anything in that account in 2 years. What am I waiting for? Let's reframe that. How can we reframe that statement, right? My goal is to put something into this account moving forward. I'm ready to start leveraging this account moving forward. We want to adjust the way we're thinking about it so we're not guilting ourselves as to what we have not been able to do for whatever reason it might be. Let me go back to my screen thing. Instead of saying, I cannot save, try saying, I can start small and I will be able to save. So these little words that we say empower ourselves, and they also tie back into our subconscious. If I keep telling myself I can't save, when I get the money, the extra spare money, $5, $10, whatever it might be, I'm going to be like, you know what? This is too small to even save. Why bother? But if I'm telling myself, you know what, Bola, I can save. When I get that $5, that $10, I'm going to be excited to have that extra money, and I'm more likely to put it aside. So one thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to saving money, you don't need to have hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a week to be making progress. Like, I wasn't here for 2 weeks and all I have put into this journal is $70. That is a lot of money, but it's also, it can't pay rent, it can't pay insurance, can't do a lot of things, can't really buy groceries for a family in this economy, but it is still something that I have put into this book, right? So think about being consistent with your actions and don't focus on the amount that you have, that it's too small. And then you don't need to be perfect to be consistent. You may be telling yourself, you know what, I'm going to save when I get paid $500 every 2 weeks. But for some reason, you can never quite get to that $500 and you're only able to save $250. That is fine. Just save what you can, right? That $250 is still $250 more in savings than you had 2 weeks ago. So your progress is valid, even if it looks different than somebody else's. You may have a friend or someone you follow on social media and they're just knocking out their savings goals and, check mark, check mark, check mark. But you're like, wow, I'm not able to do that. Doesn't mean you're not making progress. It doesn't mean that you're not doing well. Do your best with what you have. Your progress is valid, even if it looks different from someone else's. Okay, so let me check in the comments. Tilly, you said, I can. Power of positive words has helped me so much. It is so important. Andrea, you said, that helps. Start small. I keep thinking I need hundreds. You don't. Start with what you have. And then when the hundreds come, when the thousands come, you have the habit. You already know automatically that you're going to save. You do it like clockwork. But the minute we start telling ourselves, and I have struggled with this personally, like I'm someone who told everybody, wow, I saved $100,000 in 3 years. And then I get $5. I'm like, wait a minute, in comparison to my 100K, what is $5? That is money. If I see a penny on the ground, I pick that up and I put it in a jar. I never walk past money on the floor. I never walk past found money, because money is money is money, and it all adds up. The key is the consistent habits and not judging yourself and not guilting yourself. So reframing the words you're thinking about what you don't have, instead of thinking glass half empty, think about glass half full. Does that make sense? Okay, so now that we've talked about what it is, how to reframe it, let's talk about realistic ways to reset your savings. But I'm just going to go through the comments real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. Joanna, you said, thank you so much for Clever Girl Finance. Grateful for you, Bola. Thank you. I want to save and invest, but I'm currently running a doctoral program. No grant yet. It seems I'm just accumulating debt. So if you're in the space where you're not able to save right now, one thing you can do is manage your debt, right? You can still budget around debts. For example, let's say you're having to leverage debt to buy groceries, to pay for expenses. You can still budget around that to minimize how much debt you take on. And then start exploring, are there any ways that I can bring in any extra cash? Are there things in your closet you can sell, your kitchen you can sell, any ways you can downgrade, a small side hustle you can start? You can get creative, because at the end of the day, you can only cut back on your expenses so much. There's a limit. You still have to eat, you still have to live, you still have to pay certain bills. So start getting creative about what simple ways, small ways, short-term ways can you make money. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being here. Sabrina, you said, I like to tell myself how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. Yes, the elephant is giant, but you're taking like little bites, and eventually you eat up that elephant. Lavina, you said consistency is key. Yes, love that. Tilly said, don't give small money chance. You have to give that small money a chance. You have to. And then 13 Wolfies, you said, I also used to pick up pennies from the ground when I was little. I do it now, and I'm a grown woman. I pick up, listen, I still found 25 cents somewhere one time a few weeks ago, and I picked it up, and I need to put it in my coin jar. I have it on a table somewhere. Okay, so I see some questions. I'm going to come back to the questions, but let's talk about realistic ways to reset your savings. Andrea, you said, it's funny you said that, because sometimes I pass up pennies on the ground because I always think there are people out there who really need it more than me. Well, that's a good way to think about it. The question is, will they pick it up? Will they pick it up? Let me tell you a funny story. Let me digress from the topic. So there was a time back when I worked in corporate America, my boss took us out to a team dinner. And we came out of the restaurant, and there was a homeless guy sitting outside, and he was begging for money. So my boss pulled out $20 and gave it to the homeless guy. And the guy took the money and balled it up and threw it right back at my boss. And he was like, get lost with $20. What do you want me to do with $20? This is trash, blah, blah, blah. And then he cursed us out all the way until we couldn't hear him down the street anymore, because he thought the $20 was not enough. But as someone in that situation, which is unfortunate, $20 can buy you a meal. It can buy you dinner. It can get you on a bus to get to a destination. Like $20 is a lot of money in certain situations, but he couldn't see it. So when you talk about pennies on the floor, the people who need it, are they picking it up? There's a whole mindset package in this. We won't get into that, but just some food for thought. I always pick up the pennies. 13 Wolfies, you said you're my inspiration. Thank you. Now, you said, I found a dime today. I hope you picked it up. Leah, you said you have a big Coca-Cola bottle to collect change. Andrea, you're thinking. I am lovely. You said, good afternoon. I watch your videos a lot. It helps me to save money and pay off debt. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super sticker, JG. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get back on our topic. Let's talk about realistic ways to reset your savings. What can you do to start saving, even if you're feeling guilty about not saving enough, right? So we've talked about challenging that guilt. But what are the practical things you can do? Number one, start with what you can save, not what you wish you could. So let's say you wish you could save $1,000 every 2 weeks, every paycheck, but it's not possible because you have certain expenses. Even if you're only saving $5 to $10 a week, it matters, okay? Use a separate savings account or a cash envelope to keep the money out of sight so you're not tempted to spend it. So I'm using this envelope book to save money that I would otherwise have spent. So for example, if I don't spend my total grocery budget, I go to the ATM. And I actually did have more money to put in this binder, but I didn't go to the ATM in time, so I end up spending it. So keep it in a way where it's out of sight, where you're not tempted to spend it. So have a separate account not connected to your checking account. Use a binder that you keep safely in your home and things like that. And then also remember that progress builds belief. So as you're seeing your account growing little by little by little, it may not be the ideal amount you want to save, but because you're saving something, you're seeing the progress, you're like, wait a minute, wow, I can do this. When I first saved the first because when I first started this challenge, it was a 30-day challenge, and the first amount was $10. When I first saved that $10, I'm like, well, this is such a joke. Like, really, are you really gonna do this? But guess what? This has gone from $10 to 13.50 in April. So May, June, July, 3 months. This is $1,300 that I would have spent on I don't know what. So don't doubt what you can do. Your progress will help you build the belief that you can do this. And now, knowing how I have made progress, I'm excited to put more money in that envelope. The second thing you want to do is automate the smallest amount possible, right? So pick a number that feels too easy. It's just too easy for you to do, right? It's too easy for you to fail at this number. I'm going to say $5 a week. $10 a week, $20 a week. Pick a number that's just too easy. This is money that you would spend on, like, a random coffee, a random pack of gum, it's just too easy. Pick that number and then set it so that every week or bi-weekly, it gets automatically transferred to your savings account consistently. No stress. This is money that you would not even miss. Pick that amount. And then the reason why it's helpful to have this automation is that over time you'll see it growing. And when your savings are automated, it's no longer an emotional decision. It's just done. It's just done. It's just transferred. And because you're picking an amount that's so easy, you don't even miss it. And when you start seeing the progress, you can start to challenge yourself to save more. Does that make sense? So let me check in the comments. Karen, you said I challenge myself every day to save all single dollars, and you started with 3 saving challenges. I love that. BW Unbothered, you said you reward your efforts in moving your body. So you went from March at zero point 0.9 miles to 2.20 miles, and you put each growth in miles into savings. That is amazing. I love that. I love that challenging, rewarding yourself when you challenge yourself to do something. That's very smart. Shonda, you said I have $40 carved out for long-term and short-term savings challenges. Yes. Blue Butterfly, you said I started with the envelope method. Now I have a binder and I love it. I love this little binder. I cannot wait to fill it up, and then I'm going to hide it somewhere and then start a new one. And let me see what I can do this year. Let me surprise myself. Okay, so I talked about automating this. So I talked about start with what you can save, not what you wish you could. Automate the smallest amount possible. And then the next thing is you want to track your savings without judging. In fact, track your spending and track your savings without judging. So basically, just observe how you spend money for a week. Use a spending journal, write it down. Observe how you are saving. Just observe your finances. No edits, no shaming. You're just making yourself aware of where your money is going. And when you know where your money is going, you can guide it with intention. You can say, okay, you know what? I spent too much here. Let me put a little bit more into my savings. I did a bit too much here. I didn't spend all the money I planned over here. Let me put it to my savings. When you're being intentional, you're tracking that way, you find opportunities. Don't judge yourself because you went to the coffee store 6 times this week. Listen, you already spent that money. But instead, think about how can you adjust next week if you want to do better in that category. Don't judge yourself because you bought lunch every day this week. You already spent that money, right? What can you do better next week? And instead, put what you don't spend into your savings account. Again, we're letting go of guilt because shaming yourself, guilting yourself, letting other people shame or guilt you keeps you stuck in that space of, oh, I'm so bad with money. I can't save. And then when the money does present itself, you're like, oh, this amount is too small. What difference is it going to make? It makes a difference, but you have to give yourself grace and you have to let go of guilting yourself and judging yourself. The next thing you want to do is prioritize your savings goals, right? So don't try to focus on 5 different savings things at once. Pick one and then build up. So it could be that you need to build up an emergency fund. Let that be your priority, funding your e-fund. It could be that you're trying to save for back to school in September or at the end of August. Focus on that. Let that be your savings goal. It could be that you're trying to save for a vacation. Pick one goal at a time to focus on and gain momentum on before you add on other goals. And this is because focus goals are easier to build momentum around. When you start seeing the progress, remember I said seeing progress creates belief. When you start seeing the progress, you start feeling more confident about being able to save more. And then finally, you want to celebrate every win. Here at Clever Girl Finance, you know that we're all about celebrating wins. Doesn't matter how small that win is. A win is a win is a win. That is a motivator. That is success. That is you doing something good. So even if you only save $5 this week, you only save $10, you only save $25, celebrate it. Pat yourself on the back. Well, good job. I'm so proud of you, girl. Celebrate it. If you did not dip into your savings this month, celebrate it. You're training your brain to believe I can do this. Every time you celebrate yourself, you're telling your brain, listen, brain, I got this. I can do this. I know how to do this. I'm getting better at this. You're telling your brain that you're doing good. You can do this. You can keep doing it, right? It's all about turning that negativity into positivity because at the end of the day, life and our plans are not going to go as we expect every single time. But how can we continue to power through, right? It's doing the best we can with what we have. Just because you cannot save your $1,000 a paycheck doesn't mean you save zero. If you have $50 of 1,000 to save, save that $50, right? So let me check what's happening in the comments. um, so 13 Wolfies, you said I transfer money to my savings account every time I feel upset because of my corporate job. I love that. Every time they piss you off at work, put money in your savings accounts. So make sure you do that transfer after the live stream. Rosa T, you said I save $100 each paycheck. I started at 5. I started writing down every purchase and it woke me up. I actually had more money than I thought after tracking and budgeting. Yes. A lot of times we tell ourselves that we don't have enough money, but most of us can find money. Most of us can find money somewhere, somehow to put in a savings account, especially if you're employed, you have money coming in, you can find some money. Shonda, you said, I know food is what I overspend on, and I know it's a stress trigger. So my stress trigger is to go shopping. So what are the buffers that you can put in place to create friction, right? Can you meal plan to make sure you always have food in the fridge, make sure your pantry is always stocked with your favorites so that when you feel stressed, as opposed to spending, you just go into your pantry and get what you like, right? That's one thing. For me, my own friction is not to go to the mall. And I don't really love to online shop because I end up doing a lot of returns. So that's also a deterrent for me. If I'm not in the mall physically, then I really can't, I'm not as inclined to want to spend the money, especially when I'm stressed. And the alternative for me is to read a book, get into a show on TV, or do some work. So find alternatives that way. Nikki, you said such a great topic. Save what we can. Yes. Tilly, you said I started tracking my spending since the beginning of July, and it's good to know what goes into spending. Yes, tracking our spending is so important. Rhoda, you said, I don't have a job yet, but I'm trusting God that something will come through soon. I hope so too. These tips you're sharing are really helpful. I'm taking note of every single point. Thank you for being here. Kemi, I love this. You said that one way is to channel your anger. I told my husband to get mad at debt so we can smash it. It's working. Get so mad at this debt. Get so mad at your account for being low that you just slap it with money. Hi, Camille. Thank you for being here. Okay, so as you know, I am big on affirmations. Okay, so one of the things I want us to do before I come back to answer questions is to talk about affirming yourself, right? You want to speak grace over your finances. That is so important because, again, a lot of this is that's happening is in our subconscious, being able to make sound decisions, being able to allow ourselves to feel good even when things are not going perfectly. So I would like for you to share these in the chat if they resonate with you, or share your own affirmation. And so I put some in here. And the first one is I release shame about where I am and I give myself permission to grow. Just because you're not saving your goal, you're not saving as much as you want to, doesn't mean that you should carry shame or guilt about it. So, number one, I release shame about where I am and I give myself permission to grow. Number two, I'm doing my best with what I have, and that is enough. Your best is incredible. Your best is enough, right? Because as you keep doing your best, it only gets better from there. So I'm doing my best with what I have, and that is enough. Next affirmation. My financial journey is valid even if it's not perfect. Okay, this journey you've chosen to take to improve your finances, to build wealth, to save, to invest. This is a valid journey because it's going to change your life. It's going to improve life for your future self, for your children, for your family. This is a valid and this is a worthwhile journey. And it is rare for someone to talk about their financial success journey and talk about it being perfect from beginning to end. No, hardly ever. So your journey is valid, even if it's not perfect. And then finally, small steps are still steps, and I am proud of them. I can't save as much as I wanted to, but I'm able to save something. I am still proud of them. So important that you motivate yourself, you empower yourself with affirmations, you remind yourself of who you are and what you can do because you have what it takes to accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself. Keep that in mind. Nikki, you said every time I hit a short-term goal, I treat myself, whether it's an extra $50 in my fun account or a purchase, helps me to stay motivated. Yes, I am all about having fun money that is guilt-free, that you can just go and spend on whatever you want, whenever you want, within reason of your financial goals. Okay, so I want to go back. I saw some questions. What did you say, Nikki? What else? You said, I love the fun money idea Bola gave in one of her segments on the Live with Kelly and Mark show. It's really helped me enjoy still eating out and little purchases. I love that. Thank you for watching that. Because I saw some questions earlier on. I'm going to go back to see if I can try to answer those. So this was from Joanna. You said, I'm also working. I'm a wife and a mom of two. I feel guilt sometimes about the debt and the fact that I'm not saving as I would have liked. What would you advise, please? So you said you're not saving as you would have liked, but you're still saving. So give yourself grace, right? Create your plan around your debt, create your plan around your savings, create the plans and aim to work towards them. Even if you cannot stick to your plan exactly, the fact that you're still making progress, you're still paying down debt, you're still saving means something. Sometimes we have to adjust our timeline. Sometimes we have to get creative to earn more money, to pay down debt, or to save more, and that is all okay. So I want you to give yourself the grace to know that it is okay that maybe you're not on your exact timeline, but you're still making progress. I saw another question. Tracy, you said, I have decided not to ask my credit card for a credit limit increase in case. Instead, I'm going to pay off the rest of my student loans and work on my savings goals instead. Is that a good idea? Yes, that is a great idea. What do you need the credit limit for, right? Pay down the debt because at the end of the day, access to a credit card, the money on a credit card is not money that you own. It is access to a line of credit that you have to pay back, and the fee for you getting that line of credit is you having to pay back with interest. So yes, this is a fantastic idea. I'm seeing your affirmations come through. I love it. Rosa, you said, I will be debt free and I forgive myself for past behaviors and will do better now. I will be financially free. I love that. BW Unbothered Era, you said, my past is just a gauge. My future is not yet written. My present, I give myself the right to fill in the pages without using whiteout. Amen. I love that. I love these affirmations. So that's what I wanted to cover. And so as a recap, if you're not saving as much as you want to, you're feeling guilt about it, let go of that guilt, right? A lot of that guilt is coming from perfectionism, from comparison, from pressure. You don't need any of that, right? Whatever has happened has happened. Now, what can you do to move forward with what you want to accomplish? And so, like I said, decide an amount. So to recap, decide an amount you can save this week. That's your homework. Even if it's just $5, save something this week. And then pick one savings goal that you want to focus on through the end of August. And the reason why you're going to pick one goal is so that you can start to build momentum before you add on other goals. And then set a reminder to check in with yourself weekly. No judgment, just curiosity. You're just gauging to see how you're doing and then making adjustments as necessary. This is not about doing it all. It is about doing what you can. Like I said, doing what you can with what you have. You are not behind. You are just on time with your own financial journey. So that's what I wanted to cover today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button on the video if you're watching on YouTube. Share the video with somebody. Subscribe to this channel on Clever Girl Finance. And then if you're watching this as a replay, share in the comments what's one small way you're going to choose to make progress this week versus dwelling in debt. Okay, so hi, Cindy and Sadie. Um, that's what I wanted to cover. I'll be back next week. If you have topic ideas, leave them in the comments of this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. Join our community. We have almost 60,000 women subscribed to our newsletter. It goes out every Tuesday. We share a ton of information, motivation, accountability to help you stay on top of your financial goals. And please check out the Clever Girl Finance book series. The courses on clevergirlfinance.com are completely free. We have over 30 plus courses. And when you sign up for a course, you can schedule a call with one of our Clever Girl Finance mentors also for free. We are here to support you and to empower you. And so I hope you take advantage of these resources. I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Bye.